Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Forged Irish Stout, freebets.com, Ready to Fight and Empire Fight Store. We're here at Darren Barker in Belfast. What a fight card. The main event's a bit of a banger as well. Lewis, Crocker, Jose Felix. Just talk to me a little bit about this card and some good fights.
Yeah, we've got a bit of everything here. We've got prospects, we've got potential rising stars, grudge matches, and yeah, like you say, the main event. I think when you look at it stylistically, it promises to be fireworks. I think we did see Felix bounce about a little bit when he fought Cully, so there's a chance he might try and move, but I think when your main asset is your punch power, at some point you've got to hold your feet, and you've got to let your shots go. So I expect that, and I expect it quite early, and the reason I say that is Crocker is going to be on Felix like a rash. He's going to be all over him, he's going to be in his face, and eventually you're going to be sick of moving and you're going to think, do you know what, I've got to try and stop this bloke in his tracks and try and land shots of your own.
What do you make of Lewis Crocker from what you've seen so far? Billy Nelson obviously talks a lot about him, says, pound for pound one of the hardest punches he's had on the pads. He says, a brilliant fighter. What do you make of him from what you've seen this early on?
Very impressed. I hadn't seen a great deal of him before the McKenna fight. I knew who he was, but obviously I hadn't had the opportunity to watch him just because we're so busy with our own stuff here, so I don't get to watch much other boxing. So when I did see him, did the prep, thought, yeah, he's a serious fighter. I spoke to Billy then alluded to he's the hardest hitter he's had, pound for pound on the pads. So the fight itself against McKenna, it was just brutal. It was just absolutely relentless, but there was there was more to it. He was cute in defence, the little steps to either side, the little rolls, the catch and counter, and the punch variation, tapping upstairs and dropping downstairs. I didn't get to see the picture, but someone was going to show me a picture of McKenna's ribs. Have you seen it? Apparently it's awful.
Yeah, it didn't look great.
It's awful, and that just shows the damage that he can cause on his opponents. And if I'm honest, I expect the same again. Felix coming up, says he feels strong, but
different, isn't it?
Oh, it's different. I mean, Crocker he's a beast. He's an absolute beast. He's a nightmare. He's a nightmare to fight. Like I say, it's more than just being physically strong and punching hard. He's cute in defence. There's a lot of little subtle things that he does that are very impressive.
We've also got Paddy Donovan on the card as well, another fighter I really enjoy watching under Andy Lee. Talks about Crocker and potentially Paddy down the line. Think about that in maybe 18 months' time. Is that a fight you'd like to see happen? And when you think about Irish boxing at the minute, big fight over here. That.
Huge fight, but I think for the foreseeable future, let's just have them.
Business.
Yeah, let's just have them on the same card. Build that fight, build that rivalry. No need for that fight quite right now, but it's definitely a fight I would love to see. Yeah, like you say, can you imagine wherever that was, north of the island, south in Limerick or wherever, that sells out. It's brilliant. But Paddy is another one I've been extremely impressed with. He's got it all. And it even stems beyond his technical ability. It's his confidence, rightly so, and his team. Andy, I'm a big fan of Andy. He's a friend of mine, but he knows this sport inside out. He's learned through all different types of trainers, and now he's brought that into his own profession. And yeah, he's a top bloke and a top coach. So Paddy's in safe hands, but yeah, technically spot on. I mean, the speed of hand, the speed of foot, the reaction, the variation with the shots, that left hand that not ball out was just so impressive. And yeah, it's a brilliant fight. If that was to happen one day, I see the smile on your face.
Take my money now.
Yeah, same.
Moving away from this, we've seen a lot going on in boxing, especially in the Middle East, Saudi. Warren versus Hearn versus Warren.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. You've obviously seen it over the years, the back and forth, the nonsense. Turki Al-Sheikh's come in and said, look, we're going to make the biggest fights possible. This is what we want to do. These two are around the same table. They're going to be doing a 5-on-5, I believe. What do you make of that sort of scenario, and how good is it for boxing?
Yeah, I think it will really capture the imagination of the British fight fans, that's for sure. The back and forth on Twitter, but whether you're a Hearn fan or a Warren fan, is very evident whenever you go on there. So I think to have a match between the two seems right. And when you've got someone backing it with the financial power that they have, it makes sense. And I'll be an intrigued spectator whether I'm working on it or not. It's a show I'll be watching. It will be a special occasion, as all the shows are in Saudi.
Other than obviously Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, what are sort of the cross-promotional fights you'd like to see? Some really good fights been mentioned, but is there any in particular you go, you know what, I'd like to see? You know, like seeing one say, Callum Smith and Anthony Yard, and you know, specific fights like that. What would you like to see?
I don't know. There's a few. Yeah. I mean, I'll be surprised if we see Callum fight again. If I'm honest, he's had a great career. But what about Craig Richards versus Yard? Someone like that. Good fight. You know, there's loads. I've not really thought about it too much, but there's some brilliant fights that can be made. There can be. So, I look forward to it being announced. It's been announced on the AJ and Ngannou, right? So.
I think so. I think that's the last I'd read, but it could change. You never know. Move on to Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk. Off the back of what happened with Ngannou, Usyk, and you know, recent reports, and I know Tasman Sports or whatever have come out and cleared it up with Opetaia. What do you read into all that? Do you just think it was something leaked? Do you think it was just false information
about the sparring?
Yeah, about the knockdown. How does something like that come about? Yeah, they're saying that Opetaia had dropped Fury in sparring.
I think if he did get knocked down, whether it was true or not, I don't know. I don't think you'd be sending someone home, if I'm honest. You just go again. It's boxing. You know, it can happen. But I thought it was more the case of Opetaia's got to train for breeders. Tyson Fury's no breeders. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was just that was it, really. I didn't. Yeah, sometimes all of these reports, like even if he did get dropped, I mean,
they put a statement out to clear it up almost straight away, Tasman fighters, and it's like,
well, that's it then. All it is Tyson Fury's no breeder. He's got a big fight to train for. He's got to get back and get his own preparation. It's all right helping somebody, which it would have been great helping Tyson Fury, prepare for Oleksandr Usyk. But you got to worry about yourself in this sport. You know, you get one crack at it, and Opetaia needs to concentrate on breeders.
What happens in that fight, Fury Usyk? Break it down for me.
Look, do you know what? He didn't look good against Ngannou. I've said it before, and I have to be honest. You know, at times in that fight, if you was to say to someone who didn't know anything about boxing, "Come here, just watch this, a couple of rounds of this. Who do you think is the novice here?" You would have said Fury, because he was just doing silly things that I hadn't seen him do before. Really clumsy mistakes. So I just think he just weren't himself. He just was taking it lightly. I think was looking to, announce the Usyk fight in the ring and just took his eye off the ball. And for Ngannou, he fought out of his absolute skin and proved that he can actually box, not just fight, he can box. So I'm not looking into that too much. And also, Usyk's a tremendous fighter, but you hear it all the time. A good big un will always beat a good little un, and it could be the case in that. He's just so much bigger than Usyk, and if he can rise to the occasion, which I'm sure he can, because it's all the marbles, it's what, we've been wanting to see since Lennox Lewis. If he can't rise to that occasion, then what can he get up for? So I expect the good big un to beat the good little un.
In your opinion, I know this always gets talked about Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, but if Tyson Fury beats Oleksandr Usyk, does he have to prove anything else to say that he's the man, the best? So a lot of people are saying, well, he still needs to have that Joshua fight. How important is the Joshua fight to his legacy and where people see him in, say, 10 years' time once he's done with the sport?
Well, look, it would be the last piece of the jigsaw, wouldn't it? It would be the one that really does cement absolutely everything in his favour, that he was one of the best for a long time. Certainly not the best, but one of the. I think he would want the fight as well. I think he'd want the fight. He doesn't particularly need the fight, but I think he'd want the fight. So yeah, look, it all lies with him, I guess, how much legacy he really does want to create. And with AJ coming back to form and looking really good, looking really spiteful, and back to that old AJ that we keep hearing, there is real interest for that again.
Well, we did see Anthony Joshua under Ben Davison in Saudi. The performance against Otto Wallin, devastating performance. I think the word I used, it was calculated. It wasn't like, didn't smother his work, didn't go on the back foot. Seemed to pick his shots very well, and when he was hurt, didn't steamroll in there. Ngannou, we've seen what he can do against Fury. It's wild that we're having these conversations because
crazy.
12 months ago we'd have just said one or the other, but we've seen Ngannou's power. What do you make of that? You give Ngannou a puncher's chance in that because of the size of the man?
Yeah, it's heavyweight boxing. You've always got a puncher's chance to a degree. But that power has no value unless you can find the target. So, will he be able to hit AJ is the big question. Very, very sharp on his feet. He's very precise with his punching, AJ. Really punching through the target again. And to get a little technical, every single time Tyson Fury threw the right hand, Ngannou would lean back and he was vulnerable to a double jab right hand. And we know that AJ throws that really well. He'll step in behind that jab and he'll fully rotate, which he's doing now with the right hand. So prediction from me would be an AJ stoppage late. I think he's proved he's got a great chin, Ngannou, but the power between AJ and Fury is levels, I think. And I think that one punch power lies with AJ, and I think he'll bring his feet in behind that double jab and land a big right hand. And I think he'll be rescued on his feet, Ngannou.
Last one from me, Joseph Parker coming off a Deontay Wilder win, flies straight into Zhilei Zhang fight. I mean, I think a lot of people talk about AJ's resume, sort of throwback fighter, fight anyone. Joe Parker, I think, falls into that category. Great win against Wilder, but now Zhang's in his way. What a fight again! Like another great fight. Does he have to almost do the same as the Wilder fight, and to maybe try to take it late, maybe let Zhang tire out, and use his mobility to stay out the way? How do you see this fight from the outside?
It's a brilliant fight. I think he fights his fight, and that's what he done against Wilder. He just took the fight away from Wilder, who just was instantly on the back foot. And I think he's got to be smart. Lots of feints. He's a very good fighter, Zhang. Crafty. Well scored, but I just feel he's in great. I mean, it's unbelievable to think he's still only 31, Parker.
Been around forever, hasn't he?
He's been around forever, but he seems like he's really in his peak, and I think that could be the difference. I think he'll win this one on points.
Darren, appreciate your time as always.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks for talking about Boxing Sauce.
We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.